From Carl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School, we are live in Fort Myers, Florida for some varsity football action as the visiting South Fort Myers Wolfpack take on the Riverdale Raiders. Hello everyone, and thank you for listening in to the Rush Radio Network for some Friday night football. This is Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play action, and we are here with another great contest on tap, as Riverdale is desperately fighting to remain in the playoff race within Class 7A District 12. If the Raiders lose tonight's game, then they will be eliminated from participating in the postseason. And a win for South Fort Myers will give the school a playoff berth. And after the 2015 regular season concludes, the Wolfpack will go head-to-head against the Gulf Coast Sharks for the district playoff matchup. These two schools will also compete in a regular season game 2 weeks from now on October 30th, a division rival contest which will take place at South Fort Myers. And we are just moments away from the kickoff of tonight's ball game, once again between the Riverdale Raiders and the visiting South Fort Myers Wolfpack. A rival to the Raiders out of Class 7A District 12. And off of this kickoff to begin the game, it's going to be South Fort Myers taking the ball first, as they have elected to receive the ball to open up your first half of play. And South Fort Myers will be moving from right to left across your computer screen. The Raiders from left to right. And your first quarter. The ball is set up by number 23. And we're just about set to go. The fans are set. A nice crowd is out on hand here at Carl Engel Field. Kicker in motion, and we are underway. High line drive, caught it around the 20, brought out to the 30, around the far side. Return is going to be brought down by number 3, Kayshawn Murray. And that's going to be a stop at around 35, and now Riverdale has a fumble right on the opening kickoff. Now that is crazy. It's a little bit of deja vu from last week and the homecoming game where Riverdale faced off against DeSoto County. It was reversed roles anyhow. Riverdale was the ones receiving the ball to begin the game, and it was bobbled twice on the kickoff, and it was recovered by DeSoto County, so instead it's going to be Riverdale taking the ball first at the enemy 34-yard line. I formation for Daniel Ulmer and the Riverdale offensive line. I formation and a handoff down the middle. And that runner is going to be stopped just short of the 30-yard line for a second down Raiders. So it's been a great way to start the game. Riverdale getting a fumble recovery on the opening kickoff. Delivering the kicks today for Riverdale is going to be number 23, Jared Regner, according to my lineup sheet. Last week we had a little bit of confusion on who the kicker was, and I believe we called him Derek Regner, but according to my roster sheet tonight, it is Jared Regner. And here's another handoff going to number 65 on the play, Cole Schneider. And that is his second consecutive carry. That's going to pick up a third down. And about 4. Pretty interesting to see Cole Schneider and the running back position here for this opening drive. On my lineup sheet, it claims that he mainly does his work out on the defensive line for Riverdale. Well, not on the line, but on the defense, he is a guard and defensive end. And on this next play, that was a quarterback keeper, I believe that was. A big storm of players formed quickly on that one, making it a little difficult to see the play. It's I formation, and fourth down for Riverdale. They're going to go for it here. A handoff to Cole Schneider, and he is brought right down. Shy of the 20, but is it enough? He barely gets past the first down marker for a fresh new set of downs. It's Cole Schneider. And he is just barreling past defensive linemen for South Fort Myers. All 3 carries, they were short gains, but he's able to sneak through the first down marker. And now here's Ulmer with a carry. A quarterback keeper, not going to get much at all as he's dragged back and slammed down at around the 35-yard line. Tackle coming from number 11, Ziugis Miludis on the South Fort Myers defense. Ball still on the 21-yard line. Second down for Riverdale and 9:45 remaining in your first quarter of play. We are just underway. Still a scoreless tie. Riverdale on the opening offensive drive of the ball game. And now we're going to have a penalty on the play. And that should go against the defense for offsides. And that's going to be a gain of about 5 for the Riverdale Raiders offense, bringing them just shy of the 15. So that's a nice addition for the Raiders offense as they slowly but surely drive their way deeper and deeper into the South Fort Myers end. I formation, number 20 in motion. Looked like that was going to be a toss coming from Daniel Ulmer, and the flag. That's going to be a false start against the Raiders. That will drag them back 5. And before that offsides penalty against South Fort Myers, that's going to just drag Riverdale back to where they started. And that's going to be second down for the Riverdale offense. Well, a long-awaited game is finally here. After a memorable victory last Friday night for their homecoming game, the Riverdale Raiders hope to build some momentum as they face off against their Class 7A District 12 rival, the South Fort Myers Wolfpack. We'll tell you more after this play. Raiders coming out of the huddle. Playing close. Same formation as the last. Toss to number 20. Zigging and zagging off to the far left side. He is going to be brought down around the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1, if any gain on the play. Tackle coming from Andre Polk from the Wolfpack defense. Third down for Riverdale. For those just tuning in, it's still a scoreless tie. 8:32 remaining in your first. Originally, South Fort Myers was supposed to receive your opening kickoff, but the ball was fumbled and recovered by your Raiders. We're currently on their first offensive drive of the game. Ulmer's back with the play action. He's trying to hold on to the ball there, and he went down. That will make it fourth down for the Raiders. It looks like Ulmer just ran out of options there. Originally, it was a play action and prepared for the pass at around the 30-yard line, and then he was just sucked into that storm of players by South Fort Myers and their defensive line. Now fourth down, ball spotted on the 24, now past 8 minutes to go here, and your opening quarter of play. It's going to be another fourth down conversion. Riverdale is 1 for 1 on fourth down conversions in this drive and in the game. Ulmer rolling out to his right side, fires for around the 10, it's caught by Daniel Malivert. He was shoved violently out of play by Andre Polk. And that is a great play coming from Daniel Malivert. He made a name for himself in last week's contest as well in that homecoming game. He brought in a pair of touchdowns. One of them was a kickoff return. The rock is laid down at the 10. Ulmer's back this time for the shotgun. One man to his back. Number 21, and he sneaks right across the goal line. That's a touchdown, Raiders. And they strike with 7:40 left on the clock. It was a handoff right down the middle to number 21, Zach Sanders. And the Raiders off to some good moves to begin the game. A fumble recovery on the kickoff, and now Zach Sanders bringing in the rush off of what has been a very lengthy offensive drive for the Raiders. Here's your kicker out and puts it through the uprights. It is good by number 23, Jared Regner, the kicker, and it's 7-0 with 7:40 left in the opening quarter of play. Raiders off to a great start, like I've mentioned numerous times throughout the drive. Let's see if they can keep things up as we continue football right after a break on the Rush Radio Network. We return to varsity football action on the Rush Radio Network. Riverdale is ready to kick the ball away after a rushing touchdown to Zach Sanders. The kick is up by Regner across the 30, 35-40, 45-50. He trails his way into Riverdale territory down the near side, and he is barely shoved out of play up against the South Fort Myers defense. So now South Fort Myers, they're finally getting out onto the offense for their first offensive drive of the ball game, and they will start things off at the 43-yard line. And these fans, they're hyped up after a great start to the ball game. It's a nice crowd on hand here. If you ever want to join us for one of our home games coming up in the near future, remember that tickets start at $5. And all of our home games have a 7:30 p.m. kickoff time. That's weather permitting, of course. And here come the Wolfpack over the 45-yard line. And it's a rush for the ball. And the ball carrier is going to be stopped just short of the line of scrimmage. That'll make it second down for South Fort Myers. That's Jared Tracy coming up with the tackle on the Raider defense. Well, what we were talking about previously, we discussed Riverdale last week in their memorable victory for their homecoming football game, and the Raiders hope to build some momentum as they face off against their Class 7A District 12 rival, South Fort Myers Wolfpack. Here's another rush, zigging and zagging all around the place. That was a crazy play, and now he dashes down the sideline. No one can catch him. Touchdown by number 3 for South Fort Myers. Now flags are going to go down on the play just before he runs it into the end zone. It's Keyshawn Murray coming up with the crazy play, and they're still going to rule it a touchdown. It's 7-6 with 6:46 remaining in your first. Well, that was crazy. You had Keyshawn Murray getting the handoff. He was just dashing all around the place. It looked like it would have been a possible loss. Finds that lucky gap and just brings it downfield. Now there's a little bit of debate among your officials here on what the call is going to be. It goes against the South Fort Myers offense. But let's wait for the official ruling on whether this touchdown is going to count or not. It is going to be a touchdown for the Wolfpack. So the touchdown stays on the board. And like I said, it was just a crazy play. One moment things weren't looking so well for the Wolfpack, and then Murray found that gap and brought it down the near side. Kicker comes out, sends it up, and it is good.
Yeah, I just want to get the 5 first.
So it's now tied up at 7 apiece between the Riverdale Raiders and the South Fort Myers Wolfpack here. Both teams with very successful offensive drives. It's going to be a back and forth battle. I will tell you that right now. We're going to take a quick break. Raiders come out on their second offensive drive of the ball game right after another quick break on the Rush Radio Network. We return to high school sports on the Rush Radio Network at 7-7. Riverdale and South Fort Myers are tied up with 6:46 left in your first quarter of play. Your kicker for South Fort Myers, number 7, Casey Wynn, delivers it off. And there was some hard hitting going off of that play. Ball is going to be brought down to around the 40-yard line in Riverdale territory. And they're hoping to ride off a little bit of momentum. But now as we have that brief line change going out on the field, let's describe a little bit more of that homecoming game we've been wanting to talk about. For the contest, Riverdale pulled out a 25-6 win over the DeSoto County Bulldogs, who are now 0-6 on the season. South Fort Myers is currently on a 2-game winning streak, as 2 weeks ago they beat out the Dunbar Tigers by a close 23-20 score, and they began the streak last Friday when they dominated the Ida Baker Bulldogs by a 35-7 outcome. Here's another handoff and a pickup of around 5 yards for Riverdale. That'll make it second down. And Riverdale, they know what the situation is here tonight. If they lose, they are out of the playoff race. And Class 7A District 12, which consists of 3 schools, we'll talk more after this. Daniel Ulmer in the shotgun, hands it over to number 21. Some hard hitting going on there. He's brought down at the 40-yard line for a first down, Riverdale Raiders. Zach Sanders, he's got that leg power going. And brings it right through the defensive line. Just blasted right through him. And he is stopped at the 40-yard line for the first down. 6:04 is left on the clock, and now we have a timeout on the play. So a brief stoppage will be delivered here. And Riverdale, they're looking confident on the offensive line. They know what type of team they're playing against, so they know what to expect from South Fort Myers. And they know they have to play aggressive out there on the offensive line as well. And Class 7A District 12, let's take a look at the standings out of the 3-school division. Gulf Coast is first with a 6-win, 2-loss record. Second are the South Fort Myers Wolfpack, 5-1 on the year. And Riverdale is at the bottom in the number 3 slot, 3-4 is their record. So Riverdale trying to get out of the bottom slot, and they can start things off by winning here against a big division rival. Here's Ulmer in the shotgun, hands it off to Sanders again, and he's going to be stopped for a very short gain on the play, maybe a gain of 2 yards on the play. Now going to be second down, 5:43 left, and the opening quarter of play. Now it's time to look at your weather report. Here at Carl Engel Field, it is 78 degrees, 0% chance of precipitation. The wind is blowing east at 4 miles per hour, and the Southwest Florida humidity is at 74% tonight. At the 40, handoff from Ulmer, and he's brought across the 30-yard line. Here is Sanders coming up with a big gain in the first down. And Sanders, he sure is putting some power in for that running back position. It's been all Sanders here in this second offensive drive for the Raiders. Ulmer's back in the shotgun. Gives the handoff to the running back, and he's going to be brought down at around the 30. He was dragged back a few on the play. And that should be a third down for the Riverdale Raiders offense. Well, your overall forecast is mostly cloudy and has been that way nearly all day in the area, but it sure is nice to know that there is not a chance of precipitation in Fort Myers tonight, and it will stay that way all Friday evening. So it seems like a great night for football, if you ask me. Ulmer back in the shotgun at the 45, rolling out to his right side, fires down the sidelines, far side. He had 2 men open, it seemed like, but couldn't connect. His intended receiver was Jacob Tracy, a big wide receiver here on the offensive line. .4:13 left on the clock. The board is frozen. We're still tied up at 7 apiece between these division rivals. Ulmer's ready to go in the shotgun. Fires to Tracy right in the hands and right back out for an incomplete pass. That now makes it 4th down for Riverdale. Just barely outside of field goal territory, but what we've seen thus far in this game and what we've seen last week, most likely there will be a 4th down conversion, and that is going to be exactly the case. So can Riverdale convert? Ulmer's back with the snap at the 35, fires down the near side to Tracy, too far out, and it's incomplete. Out of play. It's a turnover on downs as South Fort Myers now has control with the ball. Well, that time Ulmer, he was just wide open there. Tried to find Jacob Tracy, who was trailing down the near side to the end zone. It was just too far out, and it went out of play up against the corner of the end zone for Riverdale. South Fort Myers starting the offensive drive at the 29, coming up big on their last drive, bringing in the touchdown from Keyshawn Murray off of a handoff. Their quarterback is in the shotgun, gives the handoff to number 4. Ball is fumbled, and let's see what the call is. Riverdale has control. The Raider defense earns their second turnover of the ball game, and they're both fumbles. Number 4 was the ball carrier on the play, Riley Ware, and it just slipped right out of his hands. He was just in that big pile of players, and it somehow was stripped loose before he hit the ground there. And with 3:59, Riverdale has the ball, and after a turnover on downs, they hope to convert for another time around. Ulmer in the shotgun, Daniel Malivert behind him. He has Jacob Tracy off to his near side, play action, fires, it's fumbled out of hands. Was it caught? No, it was not. Wow, that was a heart attack for the Raider offense there. Pass was attended to Brett Abrams, who was up against the far sidelines. Hit him in the hands, flew in the air. You saw another Riverdale player try to dive for it, but he couldn't grab on either as he hit the ground. It's 2nd and 10 for Riverdale. Ball on the 27. And the attacking end. Ulmer has 2 receivers off to his left side. Ulmer in the shotgun with the snap. Fakes the handoff. He's going to take a run for it. He's going to get a nice pickup on the play, but it's going to be 3rd down as he just misses the first down marker out there on the field. And there's going to be about 4 yards to go for a fresh new set of downs for the Raiders. Ulmer's back, just trying to do whatever he can to get some yard gainage to set up this team to hopefully take the lead. Look at Malivert throwing the ball. It's picked off. What a plot twist that was. And it's number 3 again for South Fort Myers, Keyshawn Murray. Well, it was a crazy play. You saw Daniel Malivert in motion from left to right behind Ulmer. Ulmer provided the handoff, and then right when he was about to be tackled, Malivert just threw the ball away to a receiver down the far right sidelines, and then it was picked up by Keyshawn Murray, and he brings it down the field. The ball has not been put down yet. Keyshawn Murray having one heck of a quarter, bringing in a touchdown earlier back in South Fort Myers' first offensive drive of the ball game. The officials are going to place it down at around the 8-yard line, and the Wolfpack, they're deep in their own zone. 3:15 left on the clock. Their quarterback is set up to go, makes the snap, and a handoff. This is going to be a very short gain on the play for 2nd down on the Wolfpack. And your starting quarterback for South Fort Myers is going to be Will Morris. Having a little bit of an issue here with the roster. There's 2 number 14s. There's a Michael Morris and a Will Morris, and they're both quarterbacks, so that's some confusion. Now we have another handoff as the ball rusher is going to drag it past the 10. And we have another flag down on the play. So just to play it safe, we'll refer to that South Fort Myers quarterback as number 14 due to that mistake on the lineup. And now there's a brief stoppage of play here.
I don't know yet.
There was a flag, but it's taking a while for them to get the official calling down here. Players of both teams standing around awaiting, and it's going to be a false start going against South Fort Myers. So that'll make it 2nd and 15. South Fort Myers with the false start call will punish them with a loss of 5. And that doesn't help because originally to start the drive, they were back past their own 10. Now they're around their own 5. So Morris is going to give the handoff down to the near side. A big handoff from Keyshawn Murray, and he's going to sneak past the first down marker. With the handoff cruising down the far side. And he was pushed out of play. 2:12 on your first quarter clock. Both teams able to bring in 1 touchdown thus far. After this play, we'll discuss the scoreboard of Class 7A District 12, the out-of-town scoreboard, I like to call it. Morris is back in the shotgun. Handoff down the middle. Number 5 on the carry as he is going to be tackled down at the 34. Fanaje Gote is going to come up with that carry. And Fanaje Gorte, I will tell you something about him. He really is a player that Riverdale needs to look out for. He's a sophomore running back for the Wolfpack, and he's a huge focus for the Raider defense. He is filling in for the Wolfpack's leading rusher, Equan Doris, who was injured 2 weeks ago. Here's Morris firing the number 16 off to the far side. That's Brandon Lewis coming up with a possible catch, and it's going to be ruled incomplete. Had the ball on his fingertips there. Had a shove from a Raider defenseman, and it was stripped loose for the incomplete call. Well, a little bit more about Fanaje Gote. In last week's contest, Fanaje ran for 164 yards and a pair of touchdowns. South Fort Myers dominated Ida Baker by a 35-7 outcome in that game. Morris is back, takes the snap and the handoff to number 5 across the 30. 35 flag down on the play, and he's drilled at the 40 as he runs down the near side. And that was Fanaje Gote once more coming up with the carry, his second consecutive on the drive. And now there's some more chatter among the officials on what the call is. This has been a reoccurring theme here in your first. Clock now down to 1:23. And that's going to go against South Fort Myers. So let's drag them back a little more. Okay, so South Fort Myers, for a majority of the offensive drive here they're currently in, they've been trying to work their way out of their own zone. That last penalty was a play clock violation against South Fort Myers. They used up all their time and couldn't get the snap in before that clock went to 0. Number 5 on the carry again. Guess who? He's going to get a nice gain across the 40, the 50. Flags drop again. And he's going to somehow dash his way down to the 40 up against the near side. And it's Fanaje Gote. He's doing some big things here as the running back. The cause of the penalty being discussed by the officials here as the South Fort Myers offense waits for the call around midfield. It's a block in the back going against the Wolfpack, and that's going to bring them back again. Seems like they're coming up with some impressive gains here on the drive, but flags are just killing them, driving them back to where they started. 47.4 remains on the first quarter. We're still tied up 7-7. 39-yard line, the ball is spotted. Second down for South. Morris in the shotgun. Man behind him, and here's a flag. This will most likely be a false start. And it will be against South Fort Myers. So let's bring them back an extra 5. That time they tried to deliver the snap, and you had too many South offensive linemen moving a little too early on to play. You saw the linemen collide before the snap was made, and that's the perfect condition for that official to draw up a false start call. We are now dwindling down to 10 seconds on your opening quarter. One more play, most likely, for South. Another flag on the play. Number 6 on the rush. Brought down at the 43. And the clock is going to be frozen at 1.9. It has been a flag-filled first quarter. As we still await the ruling. And that may have been an illegal shift call going against South. So the ball is going to rest down at the 29. Clock runs out. And that is going to be the end of your first quarter of play. Riverdale bringing in a touchdown. South Fort Myers with one as well. We will give you your second quarter of play with another break right here on the Rush Radio Network. We return with more high school football on the Rush Radio Network. It's your opening play of the second quarter, 7-7. The Raiders and South Fort Myers are tied up. And you have a runner down the 50, 45-40, 35-30. Bring him down the field. Touchdown, South Fort Myers. First play of the second quarter. And that will give them their first lead of the ball game. He just broke loose. Willie Johnson coming up with the carry. And the touchdown to make your score 13-7 with 11:47 left in the second. He just brought it right down the middle the whole time. Found another one of those gaps to run through. And we've seen a few of those tonight. So here comes out your kicker, Casey Wynn for South. Sets up the kick at the 10. It's being held down by Keyshawn Murray. It's up, and it is good. 14-7. 11:47 remains in your second quarter of play. It sure has been an interesting one. I'm sure it's just been back and forth between these two teams. South Fort Myers, for a majority of that offensive drive, they've had a hard time getting the ball out of their own zone. As we open your new quarter of play, they switch sides, so South Fort Myers this time around will be moving from left to right across your computer screen. The Raiders from right to left. So you have Casey Wynn preparing the kick for South Fort Myers, teeing up the ball at the 40-yard line. Well, in just a moment, we're going to discuss South Fort Myers and how their regular season has been. Let's just say it's been dominant. South Fort Myers is set to go. The anticipation builds as we await for your kick, and there it goes. It didn't get too far, but it was a nice line drive to around the 35. Called off by the ball carrier for Riverdale, and they'll take it at around the 35 in their own zone. 11:46 left in your second quarter once more. Well, South Fort Myers, they have had one heck of a season. They've torn through a plethora of schools in Lee County, such as Island Coast, Cape Coral, Lehigh, Dunbar, and Ida Baker. And that 23-20 victory versus Dunbar was a tremendous win on the record, as well for the Wolfpack. As the Dunbar Tigers are currently 5-1 coming into their matchup at Cypress Lake. That game kicked off at 7:30. Here's Ulmer with a handoff. Schneider going to be on the carry for a short gain. He's had some great ball control thus far. We've seen it in the first. Gains a couple yards for the second down. Remember that Dunbar also defeated Riverdale back in Week 3, where the Raiders fell by a close 22-14 result. I formation for Ulmer. May have been a keeper on the play. And that's another short gain of yardage. That's a gain of 2, and it's now third down. We now sneak past 11 minutes left in quarter number 2. We have a quick line change coming in for the Riverdale offense. And they're ready to go on third down here. Ulmer's back for the shotgun. Man behind him, number 12, and now we're going to have a timeout coming up here. And that's going to be a timeout coming for Riverdale. That's their first of third called. And we're going to have another quick break. Meanwhile, we'll take one as well. More football to come on the Rush Radio Network. We return with 10:36 left in your second. It's 14-7. The South Fort Myers Wolfpack lead over the Riverdale Raiders. RHS currently on an offensive drive, playing third down as Ulmer races out to his left side. 30, 35, 40, slides out of play in front of the Raider benches. He's going to be stopped with a gain of almost nothing on the play. And that's fourth down for the Raider offense. That does not help in their favor. 4th and 6. It's a 3 and out. Another line change coming in for the Raiders here on fourth down. They're going to punt it away here. Looks like that's number 2, Dante Quintella, back to make the kick. And now you have another stoppage. Both teams are going to be heading back here to the sidelines. It's another timeout called by Riverdale. .9:42 left on the clock.
Folks, when I have a quiet moment like this, you just kind of take a glance down there at the fence line and look at those banners.
Seems like Coach Damon Jones there was a little frustrated for the Raiders on the sidelines. He's in his second year as a head coach with Riverdale football. For South Fort Myers, their head coach is Anthony Dixon. He replaced the former coach for South Fort Myers, Grant Redhead. He retired in 2014. .39-yard line, Riverdale has the ball, but it's fourth down. This will be kicked away by Quintella once again, as he awaits the kick back into 25. Man in motion from right to left. It's a high snap. Quintella's going to grab it, kick it away. That's high in the sky, but it's short. Drops out of play around the 45-yard line. And South Fort Myers zone. High pressure situation there for Quintella. It was another high snap. He's able to grab it with one hand. Preps himself in time for the kick. And he boots it out of play. Anyhow, the Wolfpack will take the ball around the halfway marker of the field at the 47. Hoping to advance their 7-point lead. 9:36 in the second. A lot of playoff tensions in this game for Riverdale. This may very well possibly be the most important game of the season. Here's Morris back for the shotgun snap it around the 40. Fake handoff, fires it to the left side into a crowded Riverdale defenseman. It drops harmlessly incomplete for 2nd and 10. Well, sneaky play there for Morris. Tried to go for the fake handoff and right away just leveled out to his left side. Where it bounced down at the 50-yard line. Well, in order to stay in the playoff race, Riverdale must be the victor of this contest. Riverdale was put on the brink of elimination just 2 weeks ago when they fell on the road to the Gulf Coast Sharks by a 32-14 final score. Morris is back in the shotgun. Man behind him. And a man in motion, number 8, from right to left. There's your handoff. And the runner is going to be stopped at around the 50, just short at the 48. 3rd down for the Wolfpack offense. And like we mentioned before, Gulf Coast, they have the best record out of their 2 other rivals. Anyhow, none of the 3 teams in Class 7A District 12 have clinched a spot in the postseason. 3rd and 10 for South. Fires the number 8, and he's laid out by number 13 on the Raider defense, Connor Johnston. Just laying out that intended receiver, number 8 at the 50-yard line. That was Willie Johnson on the intended receiver, or as the intended receiver, I should say. They spot the ball past the 50 at the 49 and the Raider end. 8:18 and rolling on the clock. It's 4th down for South Fort Myers. They're going to kick the ball away. Punter awaits standing at the 35. And now we have a flag. Saw some action there on the offensive line. And now we'll drag him back. That was a false start, of course, against the Wolfpack.
Run it.
That brings it to the 46. That was a loss of 5. There's your punt high up from the 35, downfield to the 20, caught off the fly by number 8, or number 9, pardon me there, to the 30-yard line. And that's Jacob Tracy on the return as he shoved out the play up against a far sideline. Ball at the 28 and 7:42 left on the clock. So we have your stoppage. Raiders back out on the offense at the 28. Here's Ulmer Beck. Takes it, and it's a fake handoff across the 35, and he slides down. Now, I believe we were going to get to this. Not sure if we got to it just yet. It's been such a fast-paced game of football. Sometimes you just get your eye off of the paper, which isn't a bad thing. Of course, you should be paying attention to the game, but anyways, we'll repeat it anyways. The Class 7A District 12 Our Town scoreboard. Ulmer's ready for the snap. And there's a flag on the play. And that's a false start on the play. 7:05 on the clock, 2nd and 7 for Riverdale. Well, not much is occurring tonight in your Class 7A District 12 scoreboard. Riverdale and South Fort Myers are playing each other, and the Gulf Coast Sharks have the week off. Here's Ulmer with the handoff. Runner dashing around, broad across the 35. Trying to see who came up with the ball carry on the play. Late flag thrown out after the play was blown dead. And it's a penalty going against the Raider offense.
Personal foul against the offense.
It was a personal foul going against Riverdale. And keep in mind about the bye weeks. Riverdale will spend their bye week after this game. So there will be no game next Friday. And then after the bye week, we have 2 more games in the season, both at Riverdale, and that is going to be your 2015 regular season schedule for the Raiders. Number 12 on the carry, and you can hear the hit all the way up here. Number 12 on the carry. Stayed in bounds with the tackle. Now under 6 minutes to play here in your first half. And by the way, it's been a very fast-moving opening half of play. Game started at around 7:30 p.m. with the kickoff. It's now 8:18 here in Southwest Florida. In case if I said it, that was a 7:30 kickoff. Can't recall if I said 7 o'clock or 7:30, but anyways, just to be safe, 7:30 kickoff. 8:18 currently the time here in Southwest Florida, so just want to play it safe there as the punt is going to pop out of bounds here, up against the Raider sidelines. And there's a flag out on the play. I've been saying that all night. So they declined the flag. They will, so we will resume action. And we have a break. Teams heading to the sidelines once more. 5:21 left in your second quarter of play. We'll come back with more high school sports on the Rush Radio Network. All right, so more football action ready to go. 5:21 left in your first half of play. South Fort Myers has control of the ball. First down. Morris gives a handoff to number 4. There he goes. Can't be stopped. Touchdown, South Fort Myers. 5:12 left in your second. And that's number 4, Riley Ware, bringing that ball right in. It seems like the touchdowns thus far from South Fort Myers have been pretty similar. Offensive line able to just catch that lucky break and bring it straight to the end zone. No complications with defensemen whatsoever. We're going to have Casey Wynn come back out into the field once more. sets up. Is it through? Yes, it is. All right, so now the Raiders, they have some work to do here. Down by 14 points. Still some time to work with here before we head to your halftime break. Well, just a few moments ago, we were discussing the end of the season for Riverdale. Now, the playoffs are uncertain. Like we said, Riverdale needs to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive. But we do know what to expect for the remainder of the 2015 regular season schedule, as South Fort Myers is ready to kick the ball away. We'll tell you all about the homestand after his kickoff here. Ball teed up at the 40. It's going to be kicked out by Wynn. And there it goes. Off towards the far side. Going to be called off by number 3, Jaquez Dickerson, who comes up with the catch off the line drive. And now it's time to talk about the rest of that homestand. Tonight's game represents Game 2 of 4 straight at home for Riverdale. They started it off well with a big homecoming victory last Friday night, where the Raiders dominated the DeSoto County Bulldogs by a 25-6 final score. After tonight, the Raiders will have a bye week on the schedule, but they will end the regular season with matchups versus Westminster Christian on October 30th, and the main event of the season, I like to call it. Well, here's a rush by Ulmer. Very impressive amount as he dives down just short of the 40. And that's going to be second down, but a gain of 8 yards. It's 2nd and 2 for the Raider offense. Well, anyways, the final 2 games of the season for Riverdale. A game versus Westminster Christian on October 30th, and the Battle of the Bell on November 7th. Ulmer gets another fake and a quarterback keeper. Makes his way across the first down marker for the fresh set of downs. 4:37 left on the clock here in your second. Plenty of time for Riverdale to bring it down the field, no doubt about that.
Yeah. Remember, first downs, you still run it though. Oh.
Well, the Battle of the Bell, that's why I like to call it the main event of the season. It's on November 7th once more. The Lehigh Lightning will come to Riverdale this year to play the big game. Riverdale has won the Battle of the Bell contest 3 seasons in a row against Lehigh. And now a timeout. And it's going against Riverdale. That is all of their timeouts. So now the Raiders trying to reassess the situation. It looks like the play clock there was running very low, so Coach Jones is going to spend that 3rd and final timeout. On the other hand, South Fort Myers, they still have all 3 of theirs left that they can choose wisely. So Raiders offense in a huddle. South Fort Myers defense waiting out there. Ball placed on the 42. Raiders barely in their own zone of the field.
It's only going to be me, though.
So we're back to action, and Ulmer is back in the shotgun. Man to his back. Takes the snap. Handoff number 12. It's a fake. Here's Ulmer. He's trapped, and he slips down at the 30-yard line. Number 67 is going to bring him down there on the play. And that was just crazy. You had 3 guys on the defense there just charging out at Ulmer. He made that fake handoff for the play action. And all of a sudden he had 3 South Fort Myers players right in his face. And before he could throw the ball away or do anything for that matter, they are brought down, the Raiders that is, for second down. Ulmer back at the 25. He's racing forward, and he's tackled again at the 30. South Fort Myers defense, they're all charged up. They're jumping around, and Ulmer, he's taking a beating out there in this drive. And very recently, he's been showing a lot of courage keeping the ball in his hands. Clock rolling down to 3 minutes. It's third down for the Raiders. There's Ulmer with the shotgun, fires deep down in front of a sprawling receiver on the play. He absolutely laid out for that ball. It was Brett Abrams, the intended receiver, the tight end. That time he was able to just wedge his way in between two South Fort Myers defensemen, but pass was too far out and he tried sprawling for it. And Riverdale falls short on another offensive drive. It's fourth down. Oh, a little bit of action on the offensive line. No flag called, and Quintella is able to kick the ball away. South Fort Myers nearly had the offsides charged against him. Now you have the ball runner going down to the 35, and he breaks loose. That is crazy. Flag going down, and he runs his way to the end zone. It's as easy as that. It blows me away with the big opportunities that South Fort Myers has had. Now a flag may overturn this. That was just a lot of madness off of that punt return for South Fort Myers.
That was a great run, but that was stupid. That was unnecessary.
I believe that was Riley Ware coming up with that return. .240 left in the second. Raiders defense, they just can't seem to catch a break here. Ball at around the 50.
It's on me.
Wolfpack first and 10. Shotgun for Morris. Oh, and there it is. It's an obvious false start. Morris made the snap, and you saw a man off to the right of Morris make a small lurch there, and that's going to cause the false start. This game has been no stranger to false start calls and offsides as well. Time starting to move slowly as we head towards the end of the second. .240 left on the board. Morris giving the handoff down the middle to number 5. Struggling across the 45, and he's brought down. That's going to run the clock. Now you have a man down for Riverdale. And that's going to stop the clock as the trainers come out.
Yeah, that's the guy that got hit in the back. He did 65 got behind and went just like this and celebrated it. Drilled him. It was ugly.
And man down here as the trainers and coaches come out to check on him. It's a player for Riverdale, pardon me. He's out on his back at around the 45. And they're going to help him up. So that's good. Just a little shaken up on the play there, taking a hard hit from the back. That's number 53. And that's Nick Mauricio. Help back up, and he'll be brought to the sidelines. So we roll on here with South Fort Myers carrying the ball at the halfway marker of the field, just about. It's second down and a handoff. Ball carrier was tripped up and another flag after the whistle of the play. Players will await this call. It's a personal foul going against South Fort Myers. So that's going to drag them back just a little bit more, about 10. Ball placed at the 34. That'll put up some relief for the Raider defense.
What is running clock? 28 or 35? I get Pop Warner.
So do I. It's 35 though for high school. 35. Yeah. I think Pop Warner, how much is it? 20, right? 28. 28. Okay.
All right, so the South Fort Myers Wolfpack, they're going to try it again. Quarterback rolling out to the right side, rips it down the field. It's too far ahead. Oh, Riverdale fans take a sigh of relief. That was a dangerous pass to number 8, Willie Johnson. He just broke loose there down the near side. There was nothing stopping him either there, but the pass was just barely overthrown, and Johnson couldn't spread his hands out far enough to even make contact with it. 1:34 frozen on your clock. It's going to be 4th down for South Fort Myers, and the Wolfpack are going to punt it away here. Kick is up at the 25. It's high, but it's low. I mean, well, that didn't make very much sense. It's regained it around the 40. Well, it was a high kick. Didn't get too much yardage anyhow. Didn't get too far down the field, and the Raiders now have 1:27 left to work on the offense. Down by 14, your score is 21-7, Wolfpack in the lead. And it's been South Fort Myers really making a statement here in your second. We ended your first quarter by a 7-7 tied up score. But the Wolfpack were able to make some wise decisions on the offense. Ball at the 43. And Riverdale's own zone. And it's going to be a handoff. Very short gain of about maybe 2. It's second down. We're not too sure what the Raiders are trying to do right now here. On the offensive line, players are pretty close together there, I should say. And there was a short handoff. Now as we march past 1 minute left until halftime. Ulmer back in the shotgun. Man behind him here. Ulmer hands it off, and it's a big hit just short of the line of scrimmage. Now 3rd down. Clock is winding down, and well, you can go either two ways here. Riverdale is trying to run out the clock, it seems like. You can also try to throw it downfield, try to take some chances, but it looks like this Raiders team is a bit winded here.
There's nobody's deep. There's nobody deep.
All right. Ulmer is back, takes a snap with 16 seconds left. Steps up at the 35, downfield. It's caught. There he goes. Touchdown, Raiders. What a turn of events. Just when you thought...
Shut up, Tim.
Just when you thought this was halftime. Nope. Don't talk too fast. That was a turn of events. It looked like an opportunity. And it was Jacob Tracy coming up with the catch. Ulmer to Tracy as he made the nice catch down the near side. Able to outlast his defenseman and bring it in with 9 seconds left. That's the way to do things here. kick by Regner is up, and that's close, but it brushed wide left. 21-13 is now your score with 9 total seconds left. So Regner cannot convert on the kick that time, but the good thing for Riverdale is that they brought things a little closer. Now down by 8 points. It's much better than 14, I'll just tell you that. And the good thing out of this as well is that South Fort Myers, they decided to receive the ball to start your first half, so to begin your second half of play, Riverdale will come out with the ball. That was a nice play as well, that opening kickoff, a fumble recovery by the Raiders. And the Raider defense, they're hoping to just wind things out as we have your kickoff. Well, that made things a little more lively here at Riverdale, I must say. The kick, that's low, a bouncer going to number 6 across to 40. And that clock is going to be ran out at 2.7. So most likely South is only going to get one more play, most likely before we head to the end of your second quarter and first half of play.
Let's hope they don't do anything crazy.
They don't have to do anything crazy. They just hands that really fast-ass kid off the left side. He'll be gone.
Ball at the 42.
Every time he touches the ball, he just scores.
All right, so let's see what South Fort Myers is going to do here, if they're going to go long or what is their choice. There's your snap, and the handoff rolling out to his right side to number 5 across to 50, and he's brought down with a big tackle, and that's it for your first half of play, maybe. Uh-oh, wait. Well, maybe a little bit of physicality to end things out here. Well, that was a crazy way to end things out. And your score is 21-13. That's going to be the end of your first half of play. As we get back to action in your second half, the Raiders will start with the ball on the offense. And let's see if they can get things going from here. Still, that touchdown from Jacob Tracy nearly brought things back with the momentum. And let's see if they can keep it going as we enter your second half of play. You are listening to the Rush Radio Network. More high school football coming up right after this.